everybody, welcome to the I Am IT Geek YouTube channel. My name is Shabazz Dar, and as ever, I am the IT Geek. Welcome back to the I Am IT Geek career journey series, and this is a series where I'm getting a bit more personal. It's not really a tech series. I'm not focusing on a technology or a service about cloud or anything like that. I'm actually talking about my career journey, my career path, where I started, the path that I've taken, why I've taken that path. Some of the, I'm going to give a shout out to quite a few influential people who have helped me through my career. I've not got here on my own, and I'm not, I'm not, scared to say that. There's a lot of people that have helped me on this path and this journey to get to where I am, and I'm very thankful for that. So, first episode, I hope you watched. If not, I've got the link in the description. I spoke about where my passion for tech came from. How did I actually get into this industry? And it wasn't just, I started, just applied for a job, blah, blah, blah. Just a bit of a recap. I talked about, doing my university course in computer information systems and the sandwich course that I did. And that year in industry during my course is what really gave me that passion. I hope hopefully you got some takeaways from that yourself, especially if you're young and looking to get into tech. I hope you got something from that video. I did kind of make some recommendations and give takeaways from that. A couple of them, one being, about if you're doing a university course, try and do a sandwich course, try to do your industry. The other takeaway was, and piece of advice was, try and stand out on your CV, especially if you're young. You've not got that experience to fill in there. Try and stand out in other ways with your extracurricular activities. Like I said, I stood out from my football that I played for university and the story that I told around a game that I played in. And finally, it was, if you're making a decision whether to go to university or, you want to get into tech and you kind of deciding whether you want to go to university or not, I would recommend doing an apprenticeship because at present, I feel that they are a much quicker way into the industry. They'll give you better hands-on experience, and you'll be able to, in my opinion, you will accelerate in the industry a lot quicker than you would if you did a degree. And that's not to say that degrees aren't useful in tech. They are. I did one myself. Be a hypocrite if I made out that they were not. I did one, and they are useful. So there were some of the things that I took away from what people take away from episode one. Today's episode is, once I graduated, luckily enough, somehow, God knows how I graduated with honours. The next part was getting a job. Now, what I did was during my university time, I did there was like a graduate scheme. That wasn't a graduate scheme. It was like a student scheme that the HSBC bank had, where you worked for the bank doing cashier job kind of in your holidays. So I worked as a cashier during summer, winter, my holidays from university. It was great to get some money in between university. And again, learned a lot of life lessons working at a bank. Now, what I decided to do was, because obviously as soon as I graduated, I was applying for roles. And again, you're like thousands and thousands of people who've just come out of university in the tech industry. I was competing with them as well as people trying to get first, second, first line, and those sort of support jobs who are graduated, they've got over experience. So I decided to work in the bank while I was still looking for a job. Again, I was very fortunate at the time. I say only, but it took me 3 months to get a job in IT and tech. And that first job was a first line support role. Again, remember, I'm very young, straight out of uni. I've got that help desk experience behind me on my CV for 15 months at Raffle. And I got a role as a first line support engineer for a company at the time. They were called Spice Holdings. They were owned by a gentleman, unfortunately passed away now, a really nice man called Sir Simon Rigby. And again, the person that was probably one of my best friends, and again, more like a big brother to me now, I suppose, and a mentor, Mohammed Yassin, and I'll put Mohammed Yassin's details in the description. But Mohammed Yassin is a person who interviewed me and hired me in my first role, so I'll be forever after university. So I'll be forever grateful to Mohammed Yassin. And yeah, like I said, there's me and another chap who we started in. We were the first line. It was a new team that they were making. So again, luckily, because of that experience I had at Raffle, I was able to pick up the sort of first line role quite quickly. I knew, picking up the phone, my tone of voice I need to use, the way I need to speak on the phone, It was all natural to me because I'd already done it. And again, like I said, because of my personality, I fit into the team quite well. So that was early 20s. That must have been 20. I think I must have been about 20 when I joined. And it was so much fun. Really enjoyed it. Like I said, there was me. There was a team of four. There was a team leader, and there was myself and another chap who joined at the same time as me. And then there was like an admin person who worked in the team, and it was just great. And we really enjoyed it. And it wasn't before long before I got promoted because again. They were called Spice Holdings at the time. They later became Freedom Group, I think, and then I can't remember. They got bought out a few times, but essentially a utilities company. So I worked for their IT department, and it was strange how it worked. They had different. Each department was actually a company. So the actual, even though the parent company was Spice Holdings, the actual company that I worked for were called the IT&T department. So I got promoted to second line. So the first line you were based on site. I was based in Wakefield, and I was logging and flogging, as they say in the first line. I was logging a ticket, trying to fix it if I could. If I couldn't fix it after 15 minutes, I'd pass it on to second line. And again, me and the chap, we were so good. Most of the things, because we both had experience. Most of the tasks, like Windows support, Office, apps, stuff, that sort of stuff. We were able to fix them quite quickly. So there's not a lot that went through the second line. Anyway, I was lucky enough to get say lucky or good enough, whatever you want to call it. I got promoted to the second line IT, and the first line team grew when they hired new people, but that allowed us to move up into second line, and that's where I started to travel. Cause I was able to drive. It allowed me, because second line you did on-site visits as well, and I spent a lot of time traveling. And they had offices. They service customers, they were customers, but they were part of Spice Holdings, but they were classed as customers all over the UK. So from Scotland, Wales, England, all everywhere in the UK. So I was really fortunate. I got to travel a bit around the UK. At the time, I was single. It was great. I was doing cabling. I was even doing cabling jobs. So they'd buy a company or they'd buy an office, like, and totally gut the office, and we'd cable it ourselves. So much fun. The most amount of fun I had was on those cabling jobs. I was young, so I was, even though it was rock hard work and blisters, cut fingers, everything, it was so much fun. Because it was like a weekend job. So I loved it. I was young and I had the time. And it was amazing. But honestly, I really enjoyed it. And it was, again, it's a great experience, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I met some great people I'm still friends with now. Shout out to a few of them. Asad Malik, who again I'll put his LinkedIn profile, really good friend of mine. Cameron Ahmed, again another really good friend of mine, and still see them regularly now. Obviously, I mentioned Mohammed Yassin, who was my boss at the time, and these are friendships I've still got now. So that was almost just under 15 years ago, and when I met them, and I'm still friends with them. So that's one thing I'll say as well. When you meet people and you build that relationship, try and keep all that relationship, because this industry is a very small place. And if you work in that and you're like me, you've been here for a few years now, you know how true that is. It's such a small place. So building those relationships and those contacts and that network is very important. So what I'll say to young people who are watching this video and who want to get started in tech, build your network, build those contacts, and build good relationships, because that's key in this industry. Because again, you never know when you'll need them. The amount of times I've asked for advice from Mohammed Yassin, Cameron Ahmed, and Asad is ridiculous. Throughout my career, they've always given me really good advice. With this whole Australia move that I'm doing, they were really good with the advice, and it was really their support throughout the years. They all support my channel so well. They're always pinging me messages, giving me props for my videos. The support I've had on this from them is unbelievable. So I'm very grateful for those sort of for those relationships that I've built. So I was only at Spice Holdings, whatever you want to call it. I was only there for just under 2 years, and the reason for that is I got married. I got married very young to my beautiful wife, who you might have seen in a couple of my thumbnails before. So yeah, I got married at the age of 23. I want to say 22, 23. So I was very young. And it was an arranged marriage, so it was my dad, the wily character, he sort of he kind of picked, it wasn't arranged as far as I got told to marry my wife. It was more like I got asked, this is someone we've seen, what do you think? It was that sort of arranged marriage. And I'm really grateful for being able to, I met Rima, and again, Um, but that was a major reason for me actually leaving Spice Holdings. It was because I was newly married. I was traveling. So I mean, I'd be traveling before I got married. I'd be traveling 4 days a week, sometimes even on a weekend. I'd have to do weekend work. So it was tough. And because my wife was obviously born in Pakistan, she'd come over from the UK to the UK. It was difficult for her to settle, and me being away didn't help all the time. So I made the decision to leave that place. And again, that's something personal I'm sharing with you, because a lot of the time our personal lives do decide or do have a say on our career paths and our career trajectory even. And that had a major one on mine, major influence. And it's not a bad thing. That I was meant to spend a little bit of time there. I got to second line. I'd got some 18 months of amazing experience. I'd met amazing people who are still my friends now. So there's nothing negative that I can say about that experience. So that was my first role in tech after I graduated, and it was hardware support, software support, building laptops, Windows laptops. That's where I learned about domain controllers. I learned about Windows servers. I took my N+ and my A+ while I was there. So these are all the things that I learned, and I was young, I was enthusiastic, and I enjoyed myself. That was the main thing. I enjoyed my work, and again, it was just one of those things that made me fall in love even more with the tech industry. I'm a big believer in, if you don't enjoy what you're doing, in my opinion, you're not going to excel. Which is why I feel like I enjoy my YouTube so much. I enjoy making these videos, which is why I feel like I hope that I excel at it. I hope people enjoy it. And I believe that the reason why I like to think I think I've done well in this industry, and I feel that is because I enjoy it. When I stop enjoying it, that'll be when it's time to change. But hopefully that will be for a while yet. So that is the second video done. I thought I want to keep these short and sweet. I don't want to go ramble on too much because it is just me talking, I suppose. But that is my first role in IT after I graduated. So like I said, takeaways from that I really want to hit home are: build your network, build those relationships, and build those contacts even when you're starting off, because you never know when you're going to need them. I left Spice Holdings on great terms. They understood why I wanted to leave, and it wasn't for a bad reason. It was a personal reason, and I needed more stability in my life at the time. A perfectly valid reason. So that's this video done. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm going to put obviously some of the URLs of the people that I've mentioned, some of the LinkedIn profiles of the people that I've mentioned, because they mean a lot to me, and they've influenced me in such a good way, and they still do. So I hope you connect with those people, because it's like Mohammed Yassin, Asid Malik, and Cameron Ahmed, great people. They work in the industry still, and they've got a lot of knowledge. So I'd say again, I want to thank them, especially those three, for the influence they've had on my career. In video 3, the next episode, I'll go on about what was next. Where did I go from Spice Holdings? What I learned, again, the relationships that I built, and some of the things that happened, because the next job was a long one. I was almost 6 years there. So that'll be the next video. So I hope you're enjoying it. Feedback to me. You're getting some use out of this. Are people enjoying listening about my career and what I've done in the industry, where I came from, what I did, what I learned? My takeaways, please do let me know. And again, let me know about some of your jobs or relationships that you've built in the industry in the comments below. Be really interested to hear. So thank you everybody for watching, and until next time, goodbye.